Down the
Hey.
tubes.
Now this is the really shitty one.
Welcome to Down the Tubes. Today we're watching a very bad podcast. That's shit. Gonzo style.
I feel vindicated, that's all.
Welcome to Gonzo style Down the Tubes dancers. We're going to dance down the tubes and we're going to bring you down with us.
Well, it doesn't matter because now we can just fully never release that.
We could just never release it. We'll have to check it out.
Yeah. Maybe what we could do is put like the mouse voice effect on it so that it's like
The
it's just kinda
mouse voice?
Yeah, like helium voice on GarageBand. We go
The whole thing.
throw the whole thing in GarageBand, put helium voice
Has
on
the
it.
episode started?
Yeah, we're starting.
This episode?
This is started. It has started.
Now it
Yeah.
has just now.
Just
No,
now.
I introed it. I said,
Yeah.
okay.
So we
well,
have to include us arguing about what number episode it is?
No,
No,
before
no.
I said, yeah.
Well, they
Before you
won't,
said
You want me
they
to just
won't
say,
know.
oh, how about,
They won't know what you're talking about putting helium voice on.
Doesn't matter.
okay.
Fuck them.
It's cold open. They call that.
That's right. In media
Let's
res.
put helium voice. We're going to put, there's going to be an episode that comes out, listener. And, well, no, you're going to hear it. It's, the whole thing's going to be helium voice. And it's going to be really short because it's going to be sped up too.
So this episode is called... This
We
episode
should
is called...
speed up the last one is what we should do. Just speed it up in post.
Just in post, speed it up. This one's called Real...
San Francisco stories.
That's right.
Real San Francisco stories.
Set the scene.
Uh,
Kind of your interviewer in a way.
I would have to go back to like 2008 or 9.
Some lore. This is episode
My-
15. We're definitely getting into some lore on this.
My
14
sister
or
went to San
15.
Francisco State. Sort of had a So I would go up there. I moved her in, to San Francisco.
Are you in high school at this point?
Yeah. Well, yes, I'm a freshman in high school because she's 4 years older than me. So she
But
was a
you moved her
freshman in
in.
college.
You moved her in.
alone.
You kind of, you took care of things.
yeah.
Kind of bossed her on that.
Man of the house.
No, we went there to move her in, and my dad like just exploded. He exploded because there was too many people there, and he had to lug.
What a weird trait.
Yeah. He lugged all their luggage around, and we brought it up this tower. We brought it up an elevator and out this elevator onto this floor, down this hallway, and all over the fucking place. And we were in the wrong building. My dad like just exploded.
It's
Like,
just too much.
he just could. He was like that. This can't be. Well, I can't do this again. I can't do this twice. And then we had to do it twice, and then he was really upset. Anyway, I really liked San Francisco. I always liked it. I wanted to move there. And then before I got expelled from boarding school, I took a trip there to meet my sister, to visit my sister, because she was like sophomore at that point in San Francisco. She had her own apartment in the Sunset.
Nice.
Went to a party in the Sunset.
Must be nice.
Yeah.
Must be nice.
She lived at a house in the Sunset where like these noise guys lived in the bottom. You remember that house?
I never went there.
Oh, you never went there.
Mm-mm.
It's so cool that that was the beginning of a time like people were knowing noise people.
People really liked Animal Collective
Yeah.
there.
People were knowing noise people in their lives.
Yeah.
And
Big noise music.
I sold a Bart Simpson ecstasy pill to some guy that was at the party, and he
Where'd you procure something like that?
I got it at my boarding school
Cool.
from a kid from
Hey
Reno.
man, this is Bart Simpson ecstasy.
It wasn't like pressed. It
You're
was
just a
cut out.
child.
It was a cutout. I was like
You're just a
15 or
child.
16.
Yeah.
And
That's
this kid,
crazy.
This guy's like 20.
crazy to me.
I know. It's
So,
fucking
yeah,
bizarre.
That is usually, I will say that's usually the best place to get drugs
From children?
Reno?
from children.
They
Highest quality.
straight to they know the
highest
source.
quality drugs.
I had a thing at UCSC where I would just never did cocaine ever because my whole reasoning was like, if you're a college student in a dorm at UCSC and you have cocaine, it must be bad.
That's
it
solid.
cannot
That's
be
solid
good because
logic.
if
Equation.
you have
that's
it,
watertight.
if you
that's
have
completely
it
watertight.
can't be good.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to do it.
There's a lot of people where that rings true.
I
You
would
just
say
do that
even
calculation like it's not you. You can't have.
You're
good-
not the guy.
You can't
You're not
have
the guy
good
who has
drugs. That's what I'm. That's
and
what
with
I'm saying.
cocaine
That's what I'm
specifically,
saying.
I think that's
insane.
been every person I've known
That's
ever.
That's a death wish to buy an ecstasy pill from a child.
Let me tell you this.
That's
exactly.
That's like I'm.
It's the worst thing this
I'm
guy
willing-
could have done.
That's like I'm willing to die. I'm willing to die tonight.
This guy, so he's like a cool, like kind of hip 21-year-old guy in San Francisco at this party. I'm 16 and I wanted to sell it because I was too afraid to take it. Because I saw my
So
friend
you're just
take it.
fucking throwing this guy under a bus. You're like, well, I don't think it's a good idea, but this fucking idiot will
Yeah,
take
I saw
it.
this kid took it at study time or whatever at my school. And he's like, the lights are all big. And I was like, no.
Ecstasy as a study drug is pretty lame. That sounds bad.
Well, I went to like a school for like idiots and bad boys.
Right.
So they did like more bad stuff there than they probably would have done elsewhere.
And they were bad at studying.
Fucking terrible at it. Yeah, they were not good. Except like, one Chinese kid. There was like half.
Were there a lot of Asian kids there?
Like 60% Chinese.
Yeah. Man, where was this place?
Tahoe, North Lake Tahoe.
Okay.
Anyway, so I sold this guy the pill. He bought it for me. I watched him buy it, and then he like drank it, or he threw it in his mouth and drank beer, and he swallowed it. That's a crazy way to say that. And immediately after he took it, he came up to me, and he's like, "Are you fucking sure that was good? Are you fucking sure this is a good pill?"
I'll say this. That's the scariest thing I can ever imagine happening to me is selling drugs to someone and then them being like,
well, he was a fucking asshole dork, but like
Yeah.
he came up to me.
He had to be a complete loser.
He came up to me and asked me that, and I was like, "Dude, I don't know. It's supposed to be good. I don't know."
Do you
Look it
remember
up.
how much you sold it to him for?
$10?
$10.
Yeah,
that's probably
Reasonable.
A good deal. I don't
like
know.
that's how much I got it for.
Seems
Just
reasonable.
Broke even on it.
You were. I just love the ethical dilemma
That's
of your
crazy.
like.
That's crazy because I've done the same thing in a visit to San Francisco.
Got off
Real
of
San
just
Francisco.
drugs.
Went,
stories.
got drugs. I was like, I think I can sell this 5-2-MI whatever research chemical it was. I had never even taken it. I was just like, I think I can score this easily, then sell it. So I sold it, and I lost money. I somehow lost money. And I'll tell you,
You're just the worst
okay,
drug dealer.
I'm
of
not
all
trying to-
time.
I like that it
Awful.
was an
I
accident.
gave up. I
You're
gave up.
I did it wrong. I
Well,
did this wrong.
I
Did you even try any?
no. I was literally just like, I need money to finance this trip. This trip I'm taking to San Francisco.
Was
It
that
was-
during my time? Or?
Yeah, it was at your house.
Oh,
It was like
I took some. I bought some from you.
There you go. I think I just was like, I'll sell it to my friends.
I'll sell it to my dumb idiot friend.
I
Jack.
took some. It was 2CI or
2CI.
the one that's supposed to be like
Did it do anything?
yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, it's mellow. I think. I
Are
think
research chemicals?
the true issue that I had is that I got ripped off from the get go. The price
Right.
was too
So
high.
you can't save a bad deal.
Okay. I was told it was going to be a good deal, and it was this girl that I was kind of seeing at the time, who's like, I know someone who
Just
can
a
sell
very cool
you.
situation in
I
general.
know
what
someone
you're
who can-
describing.
Yes. Well, it gets cooler.
Well, I bought 2CI
So-
for my girlfriend, and
no, I didn't buy it from her.
oh,
No. We went to a trailer park, and this guy that
it
was
just keeps getting
this
better.
guy was-
the more we dig into
this guy
it.
was like 50 years old or 40 years old or something, and he was like, he's like,
Oh my
yeah, here's the
God.
here's the 2CI, man, and it was like a lot less than I was gonna be. And I was like, okay, I don't know how strong this stuff is. It's like a research chemical. And then he's like, do you need anything else? You need crystal? And I was like, this is weird. This is really weird.
Yeah, that makes me sad to think of a 50-year-old man selling 2CI.
Well, that was the next
Yeah.
thing down. I like this next drug on the line is
I
crystal
probably
meth.
should have said yes. I maybe could have made my money back.
There,
the
yeah,
crystal, at
absolutely.
I
least.
probably should have said yes. I could have sampled crystal meth, and that would have been good.
I could have twisted the pookie on the way home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that I remember
story-
taking that.
darker stories involving
Abound.
all those people I mentioned,
Well,
but
maybe we'll get realer SF stories.
I think that
later
that's
on.
real. That's maybe
That's
too
too
real
real?
for the podcast, but
on a
anyways.
security level. We can all.
So-
this is true. I could always bleep anything, by the way,
Okay.
retroactively. I've done it before for stuff we've said.
Okay. Well, do you guys want to know?
Bleep this part
Do you want to know what the
of you saying
the
that
name-
you would bleep it.
I would.
Never mind.
No,
what?
why would you
No,
want to
that-
know the name?
The name of the God, I lost my
Sam,
train of
where
thought.
are you?
I'm lost in thought.
It's
Okay,
just crazy
Jack,
looking at you be spaced out with those glasses on because you look like fully wind-brained. You look fully empty-headed when you're
You know what? I just realized
holding
that
the mic.
he who shall not be named took some of that research chemical too.
Mhm. Yeah.
Probably the start of the demise.
Oh, did you do
Oh,
it,
come
Sam?
on.
Did you demise him?
That's fucked.
Did you
can't
demise
put
the
that on me.
victim?
The dose was so low
It's
that I
your
think
fault.
no one broke through. Really, no one.
Well,
broke
you
through.
have to think that, or else you're a villain. So you kind of have no
I
choice.
think that because everyone was like, "This is kind of bunk, man."
It
I think
was.
you
These
have
drugs-
to just say
That's how
that-
I lost money because I was like, "All right, don't pay me or something to a friend." You know, I mean,
You're gonna have to come
That
up
must
with a
have been
fake name because he who shall not be named is gonna come up again.
Jerry.
Yeah, they had a friend, Jerry, who lost it.
okay, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's steer away from Jerry
Yeah.
completely.
Yeah.
Jack, I'm sorry, I derailed your story, but so you sell this clearly bunk Bart Simpson to this 26-year-old.
Well,
What's
flat.
he?
I
What's
have to
what's he wearing? His hair's ironed,
His hair was like spiked, but like
spiked.
moosed. But like it was like he looked pretty good. He's a pretty good looking guy, honestly.
How big are the spikes?
Like 2 inches, but he's like it's like up. It's not
Okay.
spiked. It's
I was
like
imagining kind of like a Strokes guy.
yeah, he is like that.
Did he just
Okay.
accept it when you told him? You're like, it's good.
Yeah.
He's like, okay.
Yeah, and he just walked away.
It is funny because it's like, what's his recourse?
It's like you just
Right.
bought ecstasy from a 16-year-old. You fucking idiot. I don't know. What are you gonna do? You took it.
I would be worried he was going to kill me or beat my ass.
He was slight and small, and I could have taken him straight
at
up.
16.
He
That's
was just
sick.
he was small.
You were
he was
dope.
very small.
We're
I was an asshole.
You were. Well, the part that's an asshole to me is the idea that you're like, this is dangerous. I better offload it to somebody else.
Oh, that was not even.
That's what I'm saying.
a
You're
glimmer
so
in my
far
mind.
back then. You're so far that you're like, it wouldn't even occur.
Is
to you
that true?
That's ethically questionable.
You knew it was definitely.
He's saying you.
No,
he was
I just-
scared of it.
I was
So-
scared.
but
I
what
didn't
I'm
want to
saying
take it.
is,
It didn't
so
seem like
if
a
you
good.
you
scare.
were
I
a
was
bit more
scared
from
of
like a child's perspective, though, not from like a
it. Fear.
fear of taking.
Oh, I see.
Ecstasy.
Not necessarily fear that it might be poison.
No.
I had
Not
taken
fear that
ecstasy
it-
at that point, though.
Oh, you had.
But was your fear sourced
right.
on the idea that it
So
might
I
be a
was wrong.
poisonous
I
pill?
was wrong. Jack did
He just-
maybe think it was a.
He just
Uh,
this kid said it was
a
like kind
dangerous
of
pill.
hallucinogenic, and I was like, I don't want that. I wasn't really into hallucinating.
Did you tell the guy who bought it? You're like, just so you know, this ecstasy is different than normal. It's
Yeah,
kind
I
of
told him. I said
hallucinogenic.
it makes lights big.
My friend reported that it makes lights big in the library.
That's what he
when you
said. He
study.
said that he looked at different lights, and they were slightly bigger.
He was dying.
He was
The
passing
light's
away.
so big up top.
But that inspired me to want to move to San Francisco once I had met Jerry, and later on down the line I had my own place in San Francisco, and really just let loose, really got uninhibited and found a dark passenger riding. That was also very fun. to
There's some
ride with.
lost years for you. Wouldn't you say the SF years are they're grouping of maybe some not lost, but
I wouldn't
it's a,
say
It's
so.
a period.
It's like I'm
It's
not
a chapter.
maybe I'm not trying to speak for you, but I feel like you had some really lost years,
So
and then
cordial,
San
Sam.
Francisco is sort of like fun and less like less fucked, like less fucked.
Honestly, less.
Yeah.
It's still terribly
Yeah.
fucked.
Yeah,
But less so than I had been previous because I was in on the
yeah.
joke or something of how
The
fucked
joke
it
of
was.
life.
Yeah, I it's like I came into awareness at like 18. Most people do it like 13 or 14.
Well, I don't know. I think that
Some
lots
people
of
do,
people
never
are
do.
delayed on that. Yeah.
Anyway, I remember this. We went to this art party. Jerry took us to this art party because he started like dating this.
Wait, how
artist
did you meet Jerry? Or you can just say, was it in your hometown?
in my hometown?
I see. I see.
Okay, this is jumping. This is like after you even lived in San Francisco.
That's
that we
true.
went to this party.
That's true. Yeah,
I
I
mean-
moved away at that point.
Yeah. And we were both visiting together. We were visiting our buddy and his girlfriend
At the time,
at the time.
Wait, we're talking about an event that happened even after you lived in San Francisco?
Yeah. But our friends stayed behind.
Okay. So this
Our
is sort of
friend-
a
our
pulp
buddy-
we're pulp fictioning. This is like
we're both well,
this is that
we're
was
kind
the
of jumping ahead. Let's say it's like 2013, 2012, 2013.
Well, here's what I'm saying. We heard how you got there. Then this is this the last real SF story? This visit?
pretty much.
This is probably the last.
One of them.
This is
One of
how
the
it
last
finished up.
ones. Probably the last time it was ever fun.
That's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
the last real SF story.
The last time it was ever fun.
Fun as a
So you went to this
stretch.
party
Yeah.
with your buddy and his girlfriend.
We got this Molly that was like, she had a connection. I mean, it was like really good. It's like very high quality, like not cut with speed at all. Like it wasn't an upper kind of thing at all. And it was, we were all just like having a really good night. And, where was I going? We were,
There was
we
this
go to
art.
this party.
We went to this art
It was in
party.
Presidio.
It was in the Presidio, and they
Yeah.
had like this drawings up in a shed gallery thing,
Yeah.
and we checked those out, and that was And
So
there-
right.
it was all right. And then there was everybody there was a very ominous vibe that I caught.
But there was
I'm
like a
sort of
nice-
vibe catching gentleman.
Well, I feel like before we went, it was so like we all felt really good because we were on a drug that makes you feel really good. And then as soon as we got there, it was like there's like a dark shadow. We all like, at least Jack and I
At the art party.
at the art party, we kept saying to each other like sort of weird. Like it
before we
feels
knew anybody
weird.
there.
It was
Yeah.
felt sort of weird. And come to find out, we hear sort of a strange story
Yeah,
while
there
we're
was
there.
this guy there whose house it was, and he had like given us more Molly or something when we were there, and he had a dog that was barking into the corners of the room, and we found out that his
The dog
dog
was-
had eaten a whole plate of weed brownies at one point in time, and
That
it like
ain't right.
never changed. It changed him, and he was never the
Oh,
same.
not at the party. Just
No.
the
Just-
dog
no.
had never been the same
That's
after
like
doing that
lore.
once.
his
dog,
brain
border collie.
was wrecked. It was really sad.
just
That's really
ripped him
fucked up.
apart.
He was just in this corner pretty much the entire party and just looking at the corner, like the ceiling corner.
Barking in the corner,
Yeah.
looking at it, and then we're like, "Oh, what's up with this guy?" You know, and so
The
we
guy
kind of
whose dog's broken.
Yeah, we kind of inquired about him, and then Jerry's girlfriend was like, "Oh, I'll tell you later," you know. And we're like, "Oh, he seems like a dark man."
He seems like a dark man. This way cometh.
And so apparently, the story goes like that this guy was in that house, really fucked up one night, like super fucked up,
Yeah.
and he was like, I think he's a
Just
Molly
drinking
dealer.
or something though,
I think he
right?
was doing ecstasy too.
I thought he was just I thought that was the weirdest part of the story, is that he was like he was just maybe drinking a bit of wine or something with his prepping his dinner. But
The details,
Doesn't
honestly,
matter.
or even then, were
Yeah.
fuzzy.
yeah.
I'll go back again and say that during that party, he had a bandage on his hand the whole time.
Yeah. On
He
his
had a bandage
fingers.
on his fingers.
Yeah.
Cut forward, we're like, what the fuck's that all about? Jerry's girlfriend told us that he had come home just fucking shithoused to his own home and wanted to make food. He was really hungry. And he had made spaghetti or something. He's like a South American guy.
hmm
And thick accent. And he had that like this photography in his room that was like that vinyl wrapped photography. It's kind of
What do
freaks.
you mean?
You know when they like wrap a canvas with a photo?
Yeah,
can
or
get it
like they
done.
print it on canvas and they
A
wrap it
shiny
as if
ass
it's like a fake
canvas
painting
print.
almost.
It's like
Yeah.
moss.
I know what you're. It
Yeah.
reminds me of like
Photo of
kitsch.
moss.
it reminds me of like
New
Pure
age
One
kitsch.
Imports art that
Yeah.
you buy, or like IKEA.
Yeah.
He had that in his room. Just paint a picture.
That's pretty scary in itself. Always when I
Right.
see that.
And
He was an uninteresting artist, it seemed like.
yeah,
Kind of.
really boring kind of.
These are people who are all like grad students, I think.
They were, yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them were.
And some were cool.
some were
it was-
interesting art.
It's interesting. Okay.
He came home just fucking housed on just tatered on wine, I guess.
So
and
this guy
wanted-
had to be like 30 years
Yeah,
old.
30.
Yeah.
What'd he do, you guys?
Let's get to that.
What did he do?
He's cooking dinner.
He's cooking dinner and he wanted to put something in his spaghetti, so he like chopped up carrots or something like that. And I guess he like chopped like accidentally
Oh, no.
chopped the ends of his fingers off.
Yeah,
He chopped like one.
like the
Digit.
pads.
Yeah, like
no.
Yeah,
More
like-
than-
But I mean,
more
like
than
at the
I'm
first
saying,
nuck,
like,
yeah.
he chopped more
Yeah.
than
tip of his finger was gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he just I guess he just put it in the
Cooked it.
spaghetti and cooked it.
He cooked it and ate his
And ate it.
fingertips.
He wasn't alarmed when he cut his finger off.
He did. We didn't talk to him about it, I guess, did we?
Absolutely.
We must
not.
have just gotten secondhand. Like,
I
what did he
wouldn't.
say about it? And he was like, Yeah, I just wanted to experience, or like I wanted to just
Oh.
eat my.
Was this an art guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I'm saying, like he wasn't like. He's not like a performance art guy or anything. He's just like a shitty photography
He's
guy.
your run of the mill sort of artsy psycho.
Yeah, he was psycho.
It was
He was
fucking
very-
art psycho. It was
He's
crazy.
an art psycho guy.
He like cooked his fingers and ate them.
Many such cases in San Francisco.
These people were so strange too. It was so like alien, the whole situation, because they're all grad students that can afford to live in the Presidio, which is psycho. Doesn't
Yeah,
make
and they're
any
paying
sense to
for
me.
grad school. I don't think they're on like.
No, it's a private school that's like it seems like it might be for like people that have money rather than people who have something
In
to
which
really
case-
to really give a school, like I mean, yeah,
They're the most psycho because they have something to prove, which is that I'm not like just
I'm
some
not
preppy
just-
rich kid. I'm actually really good at art and I'll
Yeah.
eat my fingers and shit
Yeah.
like that. I'll go the extra mile.
yeah.
My experience with having grown up near SF and visiting a lot is that like that type of person. Yeah, SF is a place filled with people who like can't turn it off in that regard. Like they're so SF art kid style, and that just every minute of the day they're being that, and it's sort of like a performance, but they don't stop.
Yeah, I get that.
What I'm saying is that guy, right? I almost feel like in what you're describing, what he did, there's a viewer, there's an internal viewer at play where he's like he's alone doing it, and he's like, wouldn't that be crazy if I did that?
Dude, I
Yeah.
almost think he
I mean-
was like uniquely.
I think
Even talking
Yeah.
about him now, I feel his like fucking
His presence.
His
It's kinda like
well,
a
energy.
that's
ghost.
also what was so weird is like I feel like it was really difficult to feel bad on the drug, the
And
good
yet-
drugs we were on that
and yet
make you feel good, and the guy was like
It
creeping us
permeated.
out and spooky. He seemed spooky.
Later that night, I forgot, but later that night we went home, and Sam and I Jerry went off with his girlfriend. We were alone, and we were just staring at each other in the hallway. We had like, I don't know if you saw, but I feel like we saw the same thing, but I was fully hallucinating, and you had just
yeah.
like a scary clown like
I hallucinated like a dead person's face on you,
on me,
like a rotting face.
and but it was like it's
It was dark.
fine.
It was like pitch black in the room we were in. So it's kind of like it's very weird.
your brain's like filling it in.
It's
Yeah.
good.
Can I tell you about a
That's
type
great.
of guy that this reminds me? This is what I'm saying. I just think that San Francisco, maybe many big cities do, but San Francisco has become uniquely populated with people who are, I mean, I guess it's a problem everywhere, but
I
they want to
think-
be cool. They really would like to be cool, sincerely. And it almost feels like they're making those choices more deliberately. That, you know what I mean?
I
Like,
just think that's everywhere, dude.
Yeah.
that's everywhere in a big city.
I do want to say though, I think San Francisco, I will say, I think there might be like there's sort of a thing where it's like the people who want to be really cool are making really good money, and they're like maybe our age,
Yes.
and you have to be making really good money to be living in the city and be
Yeah, it's
living
you
different.
want to be alternative.
living
though.
a cool life. That's what I'm saying.
The thing that would be different about it, as opposed to another big city, I would say San Francisco, and every place has these, but like in LA, maybe, right? If you want to be a cool guy in LA, maybe you take a more normal route of like, I have a nice car, I'm in crypto, blah, blah, blah. I feel like maybe in San Francisco, they want to be weird.
No,
No,
Not
they're
anymore.
so normal. It's so normal.
It changed.
Yeah. Anyone who's trying to be cool is just like
They want a
they've
car
kind
in
of bought
crypto.
out. They've kind of bought out
Now.
their look.
Yeah.
If they're like alternative, they've just bought out the look, and they're
well, there is a money aspect. I mean,
Yeah.
definitely that's an interesting part of it. It's a bunch
I
of
would say San Francisco is more just like nowadays. It seems like people that just like people our age that just like own a Sprinter van.
that's what San Francisco is.
I see it
But
so much.
That's what I'm saying. Don't you think that but they want that vibe of like as if they're an outlaw, as if they're on the outside in some way. Van life is
Yeah, they
almost
like
like that
to-
for some people,
yeah.
but they're not, and they're rich. It's not
Yeah.
even a sincere, rich, cool guy.
Well, they talk about boondocking all the time. They call it boondocking.
What's that?
It's like when you just like camp somewhere in your van that you can camp there for free or whatever it is, and it's like,
Yes.
but they call it boondocking, right? Like they've got.
I haven't heard
it's-
that, but I believe you. But
Yeah.
I'm trying to articulate this. I swear it's a real thing.
They call
that
themselves like
this
dust
type
busters.
of person is
They call them like dust
different in
busters.
San Francisco than in LA. I do believe. I believe there is a compulsion in San Francisco to be a rich person who is playing as intellectual and making scobies and wearing like big fur hats.
I think you have.
Don't know. I know
I
so
think you have
few
a-
young people personally that
I'm not
live there
even saying
nowadays.
young. I don't know. I guess I just think that when I think of the cool, let's say UCSC, for example, okay, a hype beast from LA that I knew would wear streetwear and do traditionally rich, cool kid things like Logan Paul types. And I would say the Logan Paul type is not so prevalent in San Francisco when it comes to like cool rich people.
It is.
Yeah, I think
It
I
is.
kind of feel like it is. Yeah.
It's not.
It's crypto. It's all there,
Yeah.
dude. 'Cause
Well, it
it's
is all
changed
there,
now.
but I think that in San Francisco, it's almost like a it's a hippie-ish, or it's a runoff of a hippie-ish thing of like to be weird and alternative. Like they have to bring that to it.
I think if I could think of one place, I see what you're describing, and if I could think of one place that seems the worst offender of that, it's definitely central coastal California, of being like making really good money and branding it as like being like a hippie outdoorsy person. There's like a lot of that.
It's like slow.
There's a lot of that going on. Yeah.
Slow vibes.
But San Francisco, I mean, I guess
No one can
I don't
fucking
think
live
it's
there
like-
unless
like,
you have
they're
a.
not like even
you're
hippie.
made of
It's
money.
just like they're just wealthy. They're just wealthy.
It's old
don't-
hippies, but they like moved out. I mean, it's just like there's like a huge
Yeah.
takeover that was happening while Sam and I were living there.
I think there's a sincere richness in LA. It's the last I'll say about it, because this is awful that it's just
Yeah.
flopped and you deny it as true
I
in
s-
any
okay,
way.
if you're
But
talking about-
I'm
yeah.
talking about that the cool rich people that exist in every city, who are rich people who want to be cool. I feel like in LA there's slightly more of a traditional vibe to it that is like, I'm going to drive a nice car and I am succeeding and being rich and cool in a traditional blonde hair, blue-eyed way. And in San Francisco, I think, in my experience, that there is, because of the sort of beatnik root of that place and that association with it, it's the same people.
It has tinges
those
of that.
rich
There's
people,
tinges of that.
But the way that they put their spin on it is that they are they're the same people. The tech people there are the same, but they're into like more alternative stuff or view themselves
they
as
make their own
alternative.
beer and shit.
But they're not alternative. That's my point.
Yeah.
That's my whole point, is that in some place like LA, I would say that the cool rich people are sincere and traditional in that. And in San Francisco, it's downplayed in a specific way, which is posing as a sort of alternative person, even though you are just a rich
Yeah.
person.
I think, yeah, when if you're talking about like long-term residents, like people
Yeah.
that are like
And I would say it's
You know.
people who go there that do what I'm talking about. They go there to be that. They have an idea of what it is to
Sure.
be like a weirdo in San Francisco, and they go do that.
yeah, I mean, I guess I see what you're saying with LA having more of like a genuine image of being wealthy. It's just like
It's like more
You just-
genuinely shallow.
yeah. I mean, you just
It's
it's
unironic.
luxury goods, and
Yeah.
instead of like this like kind of like off-brand luxury, like hippie luxury
Organic.
life that you basically are living if you're living in San Francisco that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Like the premium, like I would, obviously there's people in San Francisco who do live above outlets and stuff, but I would say like an example of what I'm talking about is like, it would be, we've seen those apartments that are above like the Americana, right?
yeah, I would love to be in one of those.
And I think that it's like in San Francisco, that wouldn't be the premium. That's not as cool,
Yeah.
It's to just be above luxury outlets in a luxury
Yeah.
apartment. It's like, that's kind of like, no, I'm not like the old guard rich people. I'm like cool and alternative. And
I think it's interesting though. I mean, LA, there's a lot of
I do ayahuasca. I
Wealthy,
microdose. I
sorta
think that
like-
started in San Francisco.
it's like children of producers and stuff that are living there like
Yes.
kind of like a fake poor life.
And it's because
in-
of the industry.
in some area of LA, some hip area, they're living kind of their fake poor life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, wait, you know what? I think
The children of actors.
I
Not
think
actors,
it's like the archetype of the
the
microdosing tech
producers, the
guy,
directors.
the
Yeah.
microdosing tech guy, that's born in San Francisco
Yeah.
in my mind. That type
But those
of
guys
guy.
aren't like alternative. They're just like
No,
They're
they're
like-
perverting alternative things to their ends.
Yes.
That's because San
That's true.
Francisco was
That's
like
absolutely
That's
a,
what I'm
true.
saying, man.
Yeah.
a super individualized, like
I've brought
alternative
you around.
place.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. I'm
And
saying
now-
that
and
but
now
they all
the
like-
everywhere
they all
leftovers,
nearby.
like-
the leftovers of San Francisco color the same wealthy person in a different way than they would color you if you were down here. And the way that
Yes.
they color you if you're wealthy up there is that you microdose and you're aware of like where your carrots come from more.
But
and
they're
you-
all like, go
And you
ahead.
drink kombucha and you wear a North Face jacket, and
They're-
maybe
they're
you're like
all,
you take like a more metros because you can, but it's no different. It's
They-
like
No, they're the same people
Money corrupts
posing
all
as a
anywhere.
thing that no longer exists
everyone in all the cities just wants to be a rock climber.
now.
Yeah,
It's
that's
spread.
true.
It's spread
Yeah.
from the Bay Area. Because there's that's like the whole joke about the tech people and like the REI and North Face gear and stuff like that. That's like the Bay Area. That's
Yeah.
Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
Because anyway, wow, such a tangent. Maybe I'll even just edit out huge swaths of that. But
sure.
check this out. It just reminded me of a guy who I think was of that, like, so psycho guy. And this is where I'll cut to, is this moment. So that reminds me of a psycho guy. So when Gianni lived in San Francisco, when I was in high school, I always thought I would go to school in San Francisco. Because we visited it all the time because I'm from Napa. And so if you're from Napa, San Francisco is the city,
Yeah.
It's like anytime you're doing something cool, you're going there a lot of the times. And so my friend, I ended up not going there, which was at first kind of a heartbreaker to me, because I was like, I thought I really wanted to live in a city really bad, and I loved San Francisco. But even then, even in high school, I could see that like what that would be like and what San Francisco was actively changing. You know what I'm saying? Like the wealth stratification in San Francisco got and is so bad that, I mean, it's crazy. I know this is like a dumb guy indicator, but like lattes in San Francisco are like $7, or like a coffee from Blue Bottle will be like $7.
Well, the minimum wage is higher in San Francisco.
It is.
Well, yeah,
Well,
but it's probably not high
higher.
enough.
No,
It's like
Mm,
15, I would assume, right?
now, but
It's higher,
It's
or is it 18 something?
no one will pay you that low. I mean, that I'd never.
Right.
I will
All
say
I'm saying is that
yeah.
it's really bad.
it's
I
the
mean, San
best I've ever
Francisco
been paid.
has become
just
a
living
place
there.
of like, I remember as a young person, so my cat is messing with the background. I remember as a young person being aware of the fact that like through my whole life visiting San Francisco on the tail end when I was in high school, right? I was noticing more of the phenomenon where it was like guys in really nice suits walking outside of tall high rises among homeless people, essentially living in hell, just living hellish existences. And the guy just being like, this is all normal and cool, and it freaked me out. So I think it
It's
would
such
have
a small city. It's a really small city.
everyone's on top of each other, but it's just, there's tons of photos online of like people eating brunch, like with
Yeah.
a guy sleeping
Yeah.
on the ground right next to him or something. But I did visit Gianni at his apartment in San Francisco pretty frequently, which was fun. And one time I visited him, and Gianni had a bunch of freaks over, a bunch of freaks in San Francisco. And so it was a bunch of young people. Then there was this one guy who walked in who looked like, this is crazy what my cat's doing. I don't even know what she's attempting to
going
do back there.
ham back
What is
there.
she doing?
Kind of climb the sheet. Oh, there it goes.
The wheels are coming off. No, this is good, dude. Real SF stories. Wait. We're fine. It's actually going by slower, which I think is good. I'm just gonna have to edit this one. That's right. Anyway, so there was this one party, and like it was a bunch of similar things. All these people. He went to SF State. A bunch of SF State young people, right, who were like feeling themselves and being very cool because they go to SF State and everything. But then there's this one guy who's like much older, and he's like, I found out he was like 40, and he looked like, the thing where like Joaquin Phoenix did the bit where he became an asshole. He
A
looked
rapper.
He looked kind of like that. So like long beard, and he was wearing like huge.
That was a bit.
You don't know about this? Or are you joking?
Joaquin, was it a joke? Because I saw the movie, it didn't seem like a joke.
It was a character for the movie.
No,
Yes.
Yeah.
It was an experiment in acting.
no,
He was a dick on talk shows and stuff. Anyway,
that's not true. That was him doing that.
sincerely.
Yes.
No, it wasn't, man.
Yeah, it was. I'm
No,
better
he
actor than
was-
him because I just fucking fooled both of you guys.
Awesome. And so
Shut
he
up,
looked like
da-da-da.
that. He was really short though. He was
Okay.
like a couple inches shorter than me, and he was wearing like a
Shit.
big fur coat.
Where's my fucking Academy
He's wearing a
Award?
big fur coat, and then like a big ushanka, like a huge fur hat,
Mhm.
round fur hat.
He already sounds awful.
Like a
No,
Hasidic?
already
check this
sounds
out.
awful.
He looked kind of like an alt Hasid. He was not Hasidic, but he looked like what if you kind of imagine like a punk rock Hasid, it might look like this. So big fur coat.
You mean
big
like
fur
some
hat.
sort of like future loop closing Hasid?
Yes, dude. It was almost. And then he had like big glasses.
Mhm.
Big glasses.
grandma
and
glasses.
his eyes were like this.
Bug glasses.
He walked in, he was like this. He looked like a guy who was like Marilyn Manson was kind of cool. Or no, sorry, not
Charles
Marilyn.
Manson.
Charles Manson.
Yeah,
He looked
yeah.
like a guy who was probably like if you talk to him, be like, Charles Manson's just
He
misunderstood.
saw one clip of Charles Manson like wilding in the
Yeah.
courtroom, and he's like, "That's fucking sick.
Well, or he's
That's
just
cool.
like
That's
Clang,
my
bang,
I get him.
clang.
that's my vibe,
A lot
bro.
of people don't, but I get him, and I see past.
I'm
the,
gonna be like Charles Manson, but I drink beer.
He also had to be there explicitly to. I
That's a
guess I
cool
would put it as
personality
like
type.
fuck a teenager. You know,
Yeah.
that seemed like
He's
pretty
older
explicitly.
too.
So he was like 40. This guy,
Oh fuck.
and I found that out during the party, and I was like,
Did he get lucky?
Yes. Well, no. Check this out. So, the party
It's a weird way to
ended.
put it when he's that old, but yeah,
What?
that he would get lucky.
Yeah.
By,
He
by
would
getting
get
punched.
Sick.
He would get criminal. Is what he would get.
Get lucky
he
by
would
getting
get-
punched in the
He would
face.
get gross.
He would get criminally gross.
But-
Big criminal.
I'd I'd knock him out.
I avoided him largely because he just seemed so standoffish and weird, and yeah, like aware of how like he was trying to affect the persona.
Yeah.
And then like the party ended. Party's done. Basically everyone is gone. And I have visited Gianni's before, and I'm going to sleep on the couch that's in his front room. And the front room has like 2 doors that go to the kitchen. So it's like the door entrance, you walk in, kitchen's on your left. You keep walking, now you're in the front room. And even within this, so there's 2 doors so you can hear everything going on. And the party's over. Like everyone is gone. So it's just Gianni, this guy, and like another Gianni's housemates kind of humoring him. And he's just keeping me up for hours. And what he's doing is he's like, guys, like my friend has a boat. We could go to it. And they're not responding. They're like, ha. He's like, you guys, this is 3 a.m.
Ugh.
Guys, we gotta go to my friend's boat. And then at 6 a.m., we could see the sunrise. We gotta go to my friend's boat. It's just a couple miles away.
Did they go?
No, but then so it evolves. He's over and over again. He's saying this. Like they talk a little bit, and then he's like, "We gotta go to my friend's boat." And then they're just clearly dropping a hint that like, well, actually the party's done and you have to leave now. But then he's like, look, I'm gonna call him. And so I'm trying to go to bed. At this point, it's now like 4 a.m, and I'm woken up by the sound of a FaceTime ring, like loud on speaker.
Cool.
So this is the friend who owns the boat that he's been saying like we should go to, right?
The boat guy.
Yeah, but check this out. So his friend answers and is like, "Hello." What proceeds is that clearly the guy that is his friend who owns the boat does not like this guy. So he's FaceTiming this guy like 4 in the morning. He's like, "We got to go to my friend's boat." He's like,
Not his friend.
"Man,
They're not friends.
we're partying and like I was thinking we could go to your boat." And the guy is just like, when? He's like, right now, man, we could be there in an hour, which evidently means that it's not even maybe it's in a different place. You know what I mean? Like it could be in Sausalito or something. Like it's not
It's
close.
gonna go over the bridge.
He's like, we could be there in like an hour. He's like, I don't know, man. I'm gonna go. And then that call ends. But I just love that guy was like speculating on going to the boat without even. He's not friends with this guy.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Where did this guy? Where was he picked up? Where was he picked
He
up and
came
brought
to the party. I don't know
From
where he's from. No idea
who
where he's
met-
from.
You don't know who?
No
was-
idea who met him or how he got. I think that he probably had some in and is a creep. He's one of these
Yeah.
40.
Yeah.
You can't be doing that.
No.
You can't be a
Definitely
40-year-old
not.
going to a party of mostly like 18 to 22-year-olds. That's not right to do. But anyway, it just reminded me, it seems to me like a similar type of guy because whatever was going to happen on that boat also probably was going to be like psycho,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. It's just like, there's kind of like that archetype with like house shows. So I was wondering if maybe he just wandered into
It's a house show
an
type
unlocked
guy.
an unlocked
No,
door.
he showed up with people that
Yeah,
he was
okay.
probably abusing some way.
Huh, okay.
He
Yeah, there's
showed up
always
with
a-
people that he was sort of like power playing.
It's like a
little bit.
punk show or something, like a
Yeah.
house show, and there's just like that weird 40-year-old guy. And not to say there are cool.
No, there's cool
there are-
40-year-olds, but they're not going to
there are-
shows with a bunch of 20-year-olds, probably.
There's some like people that just like the music. They're not creepy.
Well, I
But I'm
think that
saying
there's,
that there's a weird
yeah.
one where no one knows who this person is.
not
They're a
really.
complete stranger in the scene, and they're just like kind of freaky. They start saying weird shit to everyone, and then it's like, where you just wandered in here?
Well, I also
you just
think
wandered
that
in here, and you just kind of
now there's
having
this
a good
whole
time.
like grooming discourse, and
Yeah.
people are like hypersensitive to age gaps, even in social situations. I would say back then it was I was in the minority at that party when I brought up that it was weird that he was there.
yeah.
That was at a time where I think people thought it was kind of cool. They're like, oh, he's 40. and
Sure.
He has like Molly and he's bringing it to us. Like,
I don't-
this guy's
yeah.
sick, actually.
I want to say too, with like the house show I might be talking about is like it would be like a
Yeah, fill
wide
this out.
range, a wide range of
Yeah.
ages.
Well, and that's what I was going to say is
Yeah.
that it wouldn't be weird if it was a party with, I think, like, young 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds and 40. If it was a mixed party.
but there can still be that weird wander in kind of
Sure,
person.
sure. But I just mean the fact
they
that he
usually
was
have
the
a fur
only
coat on.
one.
They usually have a fur
A
coat
big
on.
fur coat.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying
big,
I've
big
seen
fur
a freaky guy no one knows in a big fur coat. And
I
it's
just want
like,
to tell
this
one other
guy's, out,
thing.
this guy's out of
I've
control.
wandered into parties.
That's
Really?
fine.
I've never
Alone.
been able to do that. I think it's cool to do that. I think you should be allowed to knock on a door and go to a random
I
party.
It's like
fur
a college
coat.
party or something.
Yeah.
You wander into like just a
No, I'm talking about like birthdays,
shitty-
like kids'
shitty-
Many,
birthdays.
many.
shitty college
Like I see a
party.
bounce house over the top of the house in the backyard. I knock. I say, "You guys look like you're having fun. Can I
Looks
come
like a good-
in?" And
Yeah.
How old is he?
me?
How old's,
How old's your tyke?
how old's he turning?
How old's the little tyke?
Looks like
3?
what is it?
Oh,
I remember. I just remembered that.
good age. Good age.
3-layer cake, huh? Is it chocolate?
What are you gonna-
vanilla chocolate?
You gonna spank him 3 times? We did that in my family. Every age you turn, you get hits that number. We were crazy back then.
I brought a gun.
I brought a firearm.
I brought a
I just want to let
firearm.
you know that I have a firearm, and I am required to let you guys know that I actually am on the sex offender list. At every neighborhood I move to, I have to go around
That's
and let
actually
everyone
why
know.
I'm knocking on the door.
Yeah, no, I don't want to come in.
Yeah,
I actually
that-
just want to let you guys know. I just moved,
Oh,
and I have to
party,
let
huh?
everyone know in the neighborhood.
And I'm not allowed to actually own a firearm.
So,
So just
could you keep it on the DL? Thanks.
Thanks. Here you go.
Hey, send me a friend request on
Tinks.
Megan's Law.
this fur coat? Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Just kidding.
I
You
got this
can't
fur
do
coat
that.
at Goodwill.
I got this for. I was
Okay,
popping
goodbye.
tags.
This is Mink. All right, I'll see you
When
guys.
we lived in San Francisco, the big song. There's Macklemore was a big song.
Oh, he walks back. Oh, also, I just want to let you guys know, if you look it up on Megan's Law, the thing, I didn't do it. A lot of guys on there, it's like they make innocent people guilty. They mark them
There
down
are some
all the
awful
time.
guys on there.
Some awful guys on there. Mine, I didn't do. I'm actually an innocent guy they
Good.
got, but I don't even mind. I'll live with it. That's my cross to bear. But I didn't do it though.
Damn, that's fucking heavy, dude. You got
The
pinned
dad
down.
believes it.
Yeah.
He's like, got you on some shit? They got you on some shit you didn't do?
It's incredible. Why don't you come over later? We'll hash it out. Have a couple of cohibas.
Oh, I can't come. I'm heading down to a protest later.
What for? What's that for?
It's a BLM thing, but I'm just kind of going because I like action.
You like just be part
I like
of
to
that
just
whole.
kind of be around some shit going on.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Huh,
I just
there
got
seems
out,
There's
too.
a lot of kids that go to those though. It seems like kind of.
Yeah, there's
you-
some young kids who are quite dangerous looking.
Are you So you're new in Kenosha, right?
Sort of like an armed TJ.
You're new in Kenosha, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I just moved.
Well, welcome.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I saw this armed TJ heading down. He's driving
From
from
recess?
he's driving from a couple states away. So I
How
thought
do you know he's coming?
he told me we planned something out that's going to change a lot of stuff.
armed TJ.
That is literally what Kyle
It's what he
Rittenhouse
looks
looks like
like,
is
dude.
armed TJ.
It's just-
He's wearing a backwards
he
hat.
wears that funny ass
Lethal
backwards
TJ.
hat.
He
dude.
looks like lethal
Yeah.
TJ.
Yeah.
Lethal TJ. Here's the thing. In that scenario, you're planning something where you get shot and killed.
I'm going to fake my death to change America. and escape Megan's Law. A lot of people don't know this. The guy he
Fucking Megan.
killed, who was, he had a record on Megan's Law. That guy,
Yeah.
him and Kyle planned it because he hated living that way. And so him and Kyle, I was reading this on 8chan. Him and Kyle planned it.
Good place.
Because, I get all my news from 8chan.
I didn't know. I thought it was down, honestly.
That's what a lot of people think.
You have to show me the mirror.
I'll tell you this. I browse the archives. I don't look at current
awesome.
8chan. I read PDFs of downloaded 8chan.
Dude, that's awesome.
I archived 8chan. Like people do that. Like they're like, oh, we're downloading Wikipedia. We're printing Wikipedia.
Yeah.
I'm doing that with 8chan. And so I go and
great.
I read old threads.
That's awesome.
But anyway, so Kyle and that guy, they planned it so that he could. Why do you think Kyle was innocent? It was all worked out.
Yeah. You think
Kyle got a nice little checky poo, nice little sponsorship from Bulletproof Coffee,
right?
And he got to live his life as a free, non-marked sex offender guy.
Do you think Tucker's in on it?
The U.S. government's in on it because that guy went into witness protection. That's why he was able to confidently start his life. They made a deal. They're like, look, the FBI came to him. This is actually what happened. Sam, listen. The CIA and the FBI. Well, listen.
Shut up and listen.
The CIA and FBI came to him, this guy. They're like, look.
Yeah.
And what's his name?
Look, I don't remember that guy's name. I do not remember his name, which is sad because he was murdered. But he also did do something bad.
Chris Danthu?
Wasn't it Chris Bantha?
Bantham?
Chris Plurbus?
Chris Danthu.
And it's a real guy. He got shot and died. It's crazy.
He didn't just get shot and died. He got shot and killed.
Rest in peace.
Right? In a certain way.
Well, I say died because it was self-defense. So I don't count that as a murder. That's why I don't say killed. I say died.
Yeah.
Just saying, going, well, check this out, though. The CIA and FBI came to him and Kyle.
Right.
And they said, look, we have an objective. We want to make up racism. As the CIA and FBI, we want to make up racism to divide the populace. We want to invent fake racism.
Step one.
Okay, you guys can help us with that, and everybody wins because Kyle gets the Bulletproof Coffee sponsorship.
Black Rifle
Coffee. Yeah, I'm just accusing Bulletproof of.
Dave Aspey's a biohacker with TJ, the lethal TJ.
Kyle gets a sweet Black Rifle
like
Coffee Company endorsement. Yeah. Okay, he's set for life.
He's putting coconut in his coffee for life.
Look, we looked into your case. We know you didn't do it.
Kyle's putting so much MCT oil in his fucking coffee.
Kyle Rittenhouse
He's got dual coffee sponsorships.
Hi, I'm Kyle Rittenhouse. This is MCT Purple Power. I actually drink this every day. Tim Ferriss. Yeah, I'm actually effectively interviewing Kyle Rittenhouse today. Kyle, we heard that you used the forward assist mechanism on the AR-15 over the course of your... How did you have the mental acuity? How did you effectively have the mental acuity to be so aware?
Thanks, Tim. It's because I've been taking a lot of nootropics lately. So I'm taking cordyceps in my coffee. I've been taking a lot of people. I'm drinking mud water. It's actually a combination.
Kyle Rittenhouse.
It's a proprietary blend of.
Tim, I'm so glad you asked, Tim. I was actually on Alpha Brain at the time of the event. I actually took Alpha Brain. Tim, I'm so glad you asked. While I was driving across state lines,
I was shroom teching.
I took Alpha Brain, knowing that it would kick in right when I arrived, and I would be at my highest level mental clarity and acuity.
And I did what I had to do because I knew how to do it.
And also I did what I had to do. Anyway, so the CIA, FBI, they came to them, and they said, you get the sponsorship, Kyle. We get to make up racism that's totally fake and doesn't exist.
Not before.
No, before it was real, but we need it to keep going to ensure the deep state maintains control.
Yeah.
Then you get to stop being a sex offender because we looked into your case and you didn't do it. We know you didn't do it. Local PDs, they indict guys all the time. We know you didn't do it. Now,
gray area.
Yeah. And that's what happened.
I heard
a lot of people don't know that secret history.
I heard that you before.
So anyway,
before you were deciding, because we were at school together, Brandon and I. We were at school together, and you were pre-law when I met you, and you said that you were going to try to go into getting like guys on Megan's Law exonerated for.
Well, so I was in the pre-law program. which
Yeah.
was called legal studies at our school.
Right.
And then within legal studies, which is a major, you can have specialties. So like in literature, you can do creative writing, right? Like there's specialties within the major. And I went into pedophile exoneration focus. Which it sounds bad, but it's specifically guys who didn't do it.
Didn't do it.
It's specific. I can see. I'm not.
I remember
I'm totally seeing
I
the flaw
remember
in the name because it sounds like you're just going to exonerate any pedophile. I only want to exonerate pedos who didn't. I want to free chomos who are innocent.
Chimos.
Well, we call them freeing innocent chimos. That was another. That was like a group that met outside the classes.
I think I've seen.
I
your
remember
tote
when you
bag.
first
The
told me
tote
about
bag
it.
you had
Thick.
from that club.
From Thick,
Yeah,
freeing innocent chimos.
yeah.
Bitch, I thought. No?
Yeah.
Because you held on to the...
Freeing innocent chimos. Help, because we needed assistance in our efforts.
I remember when you first told me that, and I was
Bitch.
like, I almost...
Yeah, I'm in Fitch. Freeing innocent chimos. Help. You don't see a comma and an exclamation point within an acronym a lot, but we did do that.
It's just so... It was like off-putting the first time you told me about it.
A lot of people have said that.
But then you explained it like you just did, and I don't know. It makes
You know
a lot
what?
of sense.
And I did at the very. I'm probably
switched.
after this. I'm probably going to draft an email saying we should call it something else because when you call them pedophiles, it sounds like they did it.
But you switched to a film major, right? Because you couldn't...
Yeah. Well, I couldn't take the heat.
So would you just say film? Just like general?
Yeah, I studied general film. So that's like westerns, action, drama, noir, sad movies.
What's your
General film.
What's your favorite movie?
Favorite movie of all time?
Yeah.
Gotta go Pulp Fiction.
Oh,
It's just a masterpiece.
it's sick. What's your favorite part?
I like when
I'm gonna go medieval on your ass.
I was gonna say that. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this, because I had switched from the exonerating PETA's focus, I was sensitive to that. And you know Zed, who's dead?
Yeah.
I felt kind of bad for him because I felt like they were looking at a guy who had interesting sexual proclivities
Right.
and they were making that villainous. They like, do you know what I'm saying? Like in the
Yeah.
movie, the viewer implicitly,
Right.
the viewer is supposed to
You're not
not
on
feel
Zed's
bad about
side.
Zed dying because he
Yeah.
has a guy in a gimp suit and he tries to rape a couple people. Well,
He does.
it
He
appears
does
that
rape.
way.
He
One of
does
them.
rape one of them.
Yes. Well, yes. And so that one thing is bad that he did. Like, I'll give you an example.
But it's
In
not
the major,
It's baby with the bathwater.
in the major, yes. Okay, check this out. So in the major, so part of, and actually now I'm realizing this is probably why they
And
call
this
it
is your favorite?
exonerating.
This is your favorite scene, though, is what you're saying?
I'm saying it touched me because I had exited the exonerating pedos thing, and we deal with a lot of people who are not pedos. They just have fetishes and kinks and stuff. So yeah.
The scene.
Oh, I'm realizing why they called it that. Exonerating pedos, because the whole thing is that sometimes judges and jurisdictions, they will do this thing where they try to lump a bunch of they try to throw away the book on a guy. So in
Throw
the way
book
away
at a guy.
on a man, they try to
At
throw
a
away
guy.
the book on a man. Or
They're
sorry,
not getting rid
they
of
throw
books.
they lock the guy in the book on it, and so they lock the book on the guy.
They throw the book at him.
They lock the book. They lock this guy away with the book.
Here's my
So,
question.
wait.
A.
And
Did you feel
Fucking A.
bad after having? I mean, you essentially gave up on the program, and then seeing that movie, Pulp Fiction. Did you have any guilt or remorse about leaving?
Yes, because I'm thinking a guy like Zed, I could have helped.
Right.
Because here's what I'm saying: they would sometimes dump a bunch of stuff on a guy. So in exonerating the pedos, the studies, we would talk about how sometimes a guy is an offending pedo, right? He did do that. But because
Yes.
that's one of the most frowned upon members of society,
Right.
a DA might think that he can just put other charges. Oh, and you also fucked these kids. And maybe he didn't even, but there's just no sympathy to it. And the jury is
Like,
biased.
once the line is drawn,
You can't find an
you can
unbiased.
throw anything.
Here's a
at-
big
at
problem.
him.
Okay, like we would talk a lot about landmark cases.
Kevin Spacey.
You know how like it's not so true that jurors are totally what do you call it?
Unbiased.
Objective or unbiased based on location. Like, wasn't Rodney King the one where they moved the trial to no. This is just
They do
this
that
is
a
sad.
lot. They did
Rodney King.
they
They
did that-
moved his trial because like, oh, we need objective people, but actually they moved it to a place where it's a bunch of white people who live in a small town who are going to demonize this guy
Sure.
and believe the cops.
Well, well, if I can get it
That's a
ahead
real
of you
thing.
here,
Yeah.
you're saying that in a pedo's case, they'll move it to a place with no pedos, so they don't even have any reference to what being a pedo is
Yes.
like.
They'll
and
move
then
it to a pedo-free zone, PFZ, which is most of the country.
Right.
Well, this is what I'm saying. It's
Which you
even
find on
worse.
Megan Block.
Opposite
It's
of a
even
Taz.
worse because as a pedo,
Right.
you almost can't find an objective jury.
Is that,
It's
would you
almost
say that's
impossible.
Taz is a terrible,
Would you say
awful,
that the-
terribly awful zone for pedos.
It's a touching.
Taz VP. It's the opposite.
We never said TASVP. I don't know. I've never heard that one. What was that one?
Terribly awful zone for pedophiles.
I would say
That's
the whole
what the-
country is
that's
a
what-
TASVP.
that's what Hakeem meant, but that he
Hakeem
shortened.
Bey?
Yeah, his publishers wanted him to shorten the
we
title.
talked about Akeem Bey a lot
They wanted him to shorten the title down.
because, well, I'll talk about this. Is actually why I left the department. Were some creative differences, but anyway, I was just gonna say that, like Zed, that scene touched me because we would talk a lot about guys who like, look, did they do something, a pedophile act? Yes. Should they go to jail for much longer for a bunch of crimes they didn't do that just were dumped on? No. They should go to jail for the one act of crime that they did.
There just doesn't seem to be that's like a pandemic or an epidemic of that happening or something.
Well, okay.
but I guess I'm not.
You're not one of them.
Well, I'm not one of them. I also don't look
And I'm
into
not,
these
and
kind
I'm
of things.
And I'm also not.
Right.
That was another thing we had to deal with in the program was a lot of people would accuse you of being personally involved for some reason.
Yeah.
Why would? Yeah.
Personally invested.
I never really thought about that, but now I am kind of.
Well, think again because that's not me. I just have a big heart.
Fair enough. Yeah. You
And,
see.
and an interesting hat
you see-
choice
Yeah.
for someone that's not involved. I'm just saying.
You're saying this is a pedophile's hat? That's really bad rhetoric, Sam. We're really trying to stop stuff like that.
I see where
They
you're
can
coming
be
from, but
reformed.
I
We had
just,
a
it's
whole-
ingrained in me that when I see a hat like that,
do you
We
think-
had a whole course called Destigmatizing the Mustache. It was all about this type of stuff that you're saying.
and they covered newsboy caps.
They just covered the general idea that you shouldn't say like, oh, that's what a pedophile looks like.
But that is with
Pedophile
newsboy
could be
caps.
anybody.
They come in
Lots
it-
of
they come in all
different kinds of
shapes and
people
sizes,
are
yeah.
pedophiles.
Newsboy
Any
caps.
type of person could be a pedophile.
I would
track
say-
jackets.
They all dress different.
You never know.
That's the point. You
Yeah.
never know. It could be anybody. Pedophiles are your neighbors, your colleagues. It could be anybody.
That's so wild. So what? So the guy you sold the guy Bart Simpson. You sold the guy. That,
We already finished that story.
did it
We need
work?
a new SF
I
story.
thought it worked.
It worked.
work.
Yeah.
We
I
didn't
think it
finish
worked.
that.
I left the party.
Yeah.
I left the party. I don't know what happened to him.
That is the end of the story. Wow, these real SF stories.